Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah, what's going on? How you doing? My name's Phil Burke. This is my bedroom voice. You know me as Mickey McGinnis from the AMC TV series Hell on Wheels. That's the program when we're talking about some serious bedroom, but the program you listen to now, one time, is talking Hell on Wheels. You better watch out. Kinte got some moves. You better also watch out from the left side, because Yardley got some moves. Put them all together, and you got yourself a great show. Ooh, mama. Yeah. How about some chocolate sauce on that?
Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Hell on Wheels. This is episode number 17, and I'm one of your hosts, Kinte, and I'm joined with...
Yardley, live from Atlanta. What's going on, Kinte?
Man, I'm excited. One, about the show, about some of our future projects that we're doing. I mean, it's been a really good week, and I'm excited. We're surrounded by beautiful women. We have Melanie with us. How you doing?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Excellent. We know the fans out there love to hear your wonderful voice. Later, we'll be joined by Siobhan Williams. You know her as Naomi Hatch on Hell on Wheels. So it's a great night tonight, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. We've been excited all week for this interview, and it seems like Siobhan has been equally as excited. And you know, when we're excited and the guests are excited, that leads to a great show.
I feel like we should play that song. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. And do a montage video after that. All right. So, as you guys know, this is a live, I'm about to say TV show, a live podcast, and you can call in by dialing area code 347-326-9541. Once again, that's area code 347-326-9541. And remember, you have to press 1 so you'll be entered into the host queue. That's the only way that we'll know that you've called in. So please make sure you guys do that. And as well as if you're listening to the show via the Blog Talk Radio website, make sure that you're entered into the chat room. The way you do that is just scroll down to the bottom of the page, and the chat room will magically appear. If you don't seem to see it, just refresh your page. It should pop right up. And make sure that you log into the chat room. You can do it with your Facebook page, or you can even do it with just logging into Blog Talk Radio, and you can make you a free account. It is really easy to do. All right, that was a mouthful. So I know we always got some good shout-outs this week.
Oh, absolutely. Our usual suspects that we're going to shout out today are the Hell on Wheels and Then Some Facebook group, the Hell on Wheels fan group, which is also on Facebook, the AMC forums, and some of our greatest friends in the podcast game, Total Nerd Takeover. And a couple more bits of information for you guys. If you want to follow us on Twitter, we're at Talking Hell, and you can find us on Facebook at Talking Hell on Wheels. And one of the things that we're trying to hammer home to the best of our ability are iTunes ratings. Everybody and their mama has an iPhone, and it doesn't take but a second to click on the iTunes logo. It should be purple, I think, on the phones. And you can give us a quick rating. If you like the show and our guests, just give us a star rating and a short review. We'll greatly appreciate that. and that keeps our podcast at the top of searches for Hell on Wheels. And, you know, people are searching for Hell on Wheels or Western-related materials. They'll find our podcast, which helps promote the show. And if we promote the show and more people watch, the longer we'll have Hell on Wheels. And that's something that we all want.
That's right. And also, too, a couple of episodes ago when we had Phil Burke, we came up with this really cool contest. And the contest is essentially Phil Burke, who plays Mickey McGinnis on the show, it was revealed that he is going to be the next mayor, or he's going to be running for mayor unopposed. But even if you're running for mayor unopposed, you still need a campaign sign. So what we've asked our fans to do is to create a Mickey for Mayor sign, and so we've already got at least one back, or two back, right? Since then.
Yeah, I think we've gotten 2 so far.
Yeah, and I know I've seen one of them, and it was pretty excellent. So, and I know that other people said that they're going to make their Mickey for Mayor sign. So the deadline is November the 10th. Is it at midnight? Eastern,
yes.
Eastern or Pacific?
Eastern.
Oh, okay.
Well, I guess, yeah, Pacific. That'll give them a little bit more time.
Okay, so please make sure you guys make your posters. You know, look, even if you're not a Photoshop wizard, make one just for fun. Crap, you know, just, you know, you never know. Use MS Paint if you don't know how to use Photoshop, you know. So
yeah, I mean, all submissions will be welcome, and you know, and Phil is going to choose. So even if you don't think you're a great artist, submit your stuff. But I just do want to say this: you better bring it because there's some good stuff.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to give you any pressure or anything, but you better bring it.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it. You know, with people are coming up with, and they'll get posted on our site, all the contestants and the winner as well. So, you know, also too, I want to give a little shout outs for the people who've logged in to the chat room that, you know, who's actually logged in. We have Carol is in the chat room. I see Jeanette. I see Catherine Riel. I think I'm saying it right. Riel. I see Kathleen Mans. I see NJ Weaver. I see Renee Fleming. I see Stephanie Chabniak. And I also see Teresa Ortiz. So I want to say hi to all those in the chat room. And please make sure you guys log in, and we'll give you some love as well. All right. So, Melanie, you're going to be with us tonight. You're going to be, I like that Carol said this is like Romper Room. You know what's funny is I mentioned Romper Room to one of my nephews or something, and, you know, they're like in their early 20s. No idea what I was talking about. It made me feel old.
No.
We're going to be joined by Melanie tonight, who you guys know as she's the booker for the show, and she's going to keep us up to date what people are saying in the chat room, in the different chat rooms or the AMC forums. So how are you doing tonight, Melanie?
I'm good.
Oh, all right.
Ready to get the show on the road.
All right. And you have something in common with our guest tonight.
I sure do. We share the same name.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's your middle name, right?
Yep.
All right. So that's cool. So you're gonna, I guess, in probably about 5 minutes or so, you're gonna have something for us.
Mhm.
All right. Cool. All right, and also Nancy Bowen just logged in the chat room. How you doing, Nancy? All right. You know what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to figure out, we're going to have to play a game or something where we can give something away probably the next episode. You know, we do this game where I'll say a number, and the first person in the chat room to post the number, you know, will get something or other. We'll do that for the next show, I guess. I don't know what it's going to be, but it'll be something interesting. All right.
Yeah, a bag of coal.
A bag of coal. You got.
Yep. Because they've all been bad.
Oh, I see Melanie's logged into the chat room. All right. So our guest tonight, you know her as Naomi Hatch, Aaron Hatch's daughter. Also, well, you know what? She's not Hatch anymore. I guess she would be right. Naomi Bohannon now. Yes. So everybody, let's welcome Siobhan Williams. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good, guys. How are you?
Pretty good. We're very excited to have you on. So yeah, you're no longer Naomi Hatch. You're Naomi Bohannon.
Yeah.
Your character.
I mean, depending on who you talk to, I think half of the websites and forums say Naomi Hatch, and half of them say Naomi Bohannon, and then under the Naomi Bohannon, it's like, no, this marriage isn't legal. Swee's not a bishop. Really don't.
No, they're technically right.
Yeah, technically, I suppose. I don't know though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think in that time, well, especially without proof, I think that might be where Ezra comes in, but I don't think anybody's going to be challenging that wedding anytime soon.
Maybe we could just do the hyphenated name like people do nowadays, you know?
Hatch Bohannon.
Exactly. Make Dad happy.
You know what's so funny is we wanted to book you after the eminent domain episode, and you told us, no, you guys are going to want to wait till after the finale. So, so you put that little bug in our ear, so it was kind of like, what is she talking about? Because at that time we didn't know if you were going to be back on or if that was just a one-shot thing. So, we're so glad we having you now instead of, when
That's good. Yeah, I figured you'd have a little more to talk about.
I know. You're the master of the baffled stare. Every time we see your character, she's got like this worried, I don't know what's about to happen look on her face.
That's good, I guess.
Yes, it is.
Before we get heavily into the Hell on Wheels stuff, we always like to ask people where they're from originally. So where are you from?
I'm kind of from a couple places. I was born in Cambridge, England, and then when I was very young, I moved to Newfoundland, which is on the east coast of Canada. And then when I was about 8, I moved to Calgary, which is Western Canada, Prairies. Well, that's where Hell on Wheels is filmed, so everyone knows Calgary. Mm-hmm. And then about 3 years ago, I moved to Vancouver, which is where I live now. So all over the place, kind of.
Oh, okay. So you've seen a lot of different places in your life.
I have quite a few. Traveling is one of my all-time favorite things to do. So.
Do you consider yourself a Brit, even though you moved at such a young age?
I don't know if I do. I mean, I'm British by blood. Like, I have my passport, and my dad's British. So I would think so, yeah. I'm more British than I am, like, I'm not a first-generation Canadian even, so yeah, I probably consider myself more of a Brit, I guess.
Do you have a British accent at all?
No, I don't. I was too young when I moved away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you can do one, right?
I can do one, yeah. I can do a couple different British dialects.
Can you hit us off with a couple of them?
Oh, God.
We can put you on the spot just a little bit.
Maybe I'll surprise you halfway through the show and just break out in a British accent, because when you put me on the spot, I get nervous.
Oh, okay. So I see that you studied ballet and jazz and modern dance in school. It's funny because Kasha, she studied ballet. She still does to this day. Yeah. Did you guys ever? I don't know, because you guys didn't share any scenes, but I imagine you guys must have seen each other on the set. Did you guys ever talk about that background?
Yeah.
Background?
Yeah, we did a little bit. Yeah, she's a phenomenal dancer. We didn't have any scenes together. I did see her on set several times and kind of outside of Hell on Wheels during hangouts and whatnot. And yeah, I used to dance when I was younger. I mean, she's still dancing. I'm not so much anymore just because I got quite badly injured.
Oh, man.
And I can't really dance all that often anymore, not as much as I would like to. But yeah, it's kind of neat that we have that in common. And she's an amazing ballerina. And it's not that common to find people who are very ballet-oriented. I mean, you meet a lot of dancers, but not necessarily a lot who are driven by ballet. In everyday life, so it's really cool.
And so you also play violin. You play a 5-string violin?
4-string.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I played for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
And you got talent.
I know, right?
I quit when I was pretty young, though, because I got to a point where dance became very competitive, and I was dancing 6 days a week, so it was hard to dance like 30 hours a week as well as practice every day. And now I just play guitar. I don't really play violin as much anymore because they're thin in my apartment and my neighbors would probably kill me or move out.
Oh, wow. So do you play a seagull?
Pardon me?
What type of guitar? A seagull guitar?
Yeah. I have a Seagull Entourage Rustic. It's an acoustic with a cutaway. It's my baby.
Oh, cool. Is there? Do you have any recordings or YouTube videos of you playing the guitar?
I do actually. There is one cover that I have up of a song by MGMT called Kids, and that's on YouTube. And I'm kind of working on putting a few more together at the moment. They're, just small home videos that I put on YouTube every so often. So I'll probably have another couple up in the next few weeks or so.
So do you ever get an opportunity to jam, in front of people, or is it just more of a hobby thing that you do in the privacy of your own room or your own home?
Yeah. I mean, occasionally, like with one or two friends, we'll kind of get together and have a little session. I like to write music. Like I write a lot of my own songs and guitar music. So a lot of that is me alone in my living room. But other than that, yeah, I love getting together with friends who can play, especially friends who can play like other instruments. I have friends who have little hand drums or, other different guitars, stuff like that. So I haven't ever done a gig or anything like that. I think I would like to one day when I have established myself a little bit more and I'm a little more confident performing with a live audience. Music is so different than theater or acting. It's a lot harder for me to get my nerves up for that kind of thing. I'm not sure why, but something I'd like to explore more and do a lot more of.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Hey, how big of a role did your family play in supporting your career?
Oh man, huge. They're hugely supportive. When I first started acting, I think it was kind of like a shot in the dark, as it is for a lot of actors who don't come from a background where the family is involved in the arts. Like my parents have both come from a science background. They both have careers that are scientific. So when I started acting, it was kind of like, what? Why would I want to do that? But now that they've seen that I've been working pretty steadily for the last while, they're really thrilled about it. And it was so nice to be back in Calgary because my family is still all there. So when I was filming Hell on Wheels, I got to spend so much time with them, and that was a huge bonus of being on the show, is getting to spend all that time with my family. And they're basically my biggest moral supporters. I remember hearing in Kasha's podcast, she was talking about how up and down it can be. I mean, you go through times when you're over the moon and you're working so much and you couldn't be happier, and there's times when it's very quiet and you have to find things to keep you busy and whatnot. And my parents have always been there to be supportive and positive and remind me why I'm doing what I'm doing and say really good things. So they're pretty excited. It's funny, they didn't know the show when I first got the role on Hell on Wheels. They weren't familiar with it at all, and I showed my parents one episode, and they were all kind of like, oh, well, that's kind of violent and gritty. Whoa. And so I got the impression they were kind of like, that's nice, like, good for you. And then I talked to them 2 weeks later, and my dad's like, so we finished season 1. I was like, yes, and now they love the show. So they're hooked as well.
Oh, that is so cool. And I just want to let the listeners know that we do have a hashtag for tonight's episode. It's Naomi's Baby Bump. So if you have a question or a comment, you can enter that hashtag, and it'll come up live in our tweet decks, and we can address it, probably in a quicker manner than if you sent an email.
Right. And we do have a couple of emails that we'll get to, and hopefully we'll be able to get to work those in the show. Now, the business of acting and performing is very hard, and sometimes, like you were just saying, you have ups and downs. is there somebody that you've seen in the business possibly, or maybe a teacher or an acting teacher or something, who has kept you grounded and has really been a good influence on your career? Someone professionally, you know.
Oh man, there's a lot of those people that I really couldn't do without. A good friend of mine, Cindy Busby, who is a series regular on Heartland, the first show I ever did. She really helped me when I made the move out to Vancouver. She gave me so much advice, and she was a really good kind of mentor for me. She still is, and it's interesting to have seen our careers go, you know, in the directions that they've both gone, and she's always been there for me. And really, there's so many people. Also, Graham Wardle from the show Heartland, like, he helped me hugely. And I just think, like, every project I've worked on, I've met people who have changed my perspective that much more and made me grow as an actor, as a person, and kept me grounded. I don't know. Like, there's so many. I could list, like, 20 people right now, probably. Who else? I don't know. My best friend, Olivia, she's just phenomenal. She's getting her career off the ground now, and, like, she's gone crazy and is working so much. And everyone has words of advice and offers their experience. And as long as you take all of these things in, it'll just make you so much wiser. You know, just take a little bit from everybody, and yeah. I don't know if that really answered the question, but
yeah, definitely, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's some good stuff. You know what I was watching today, Siobhan? I was watching the episode of Motive that you were in.
Oh, yeah.
The detective drama. And Tiffany Greenwood has a hellified way of breaking up with her boyfriend. I mean, what's up with that? Yeah, I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I didn't write that. That's not how I would have done it, but he was pretty annoying, I guess.
Yeah, he actually was, but I thought that was pretty crazy. How the hit and run is what gets you in, but it's a pretty cool show. I've only seen it a couple of times, but then when I read your bio and your resume information, I went back and I watched it, and I was like, oh, it was a pretty good show. I thought you were just, you were in it a lot more than I thought. I thought you just had a cameo, but you were the focus of the show, and it was a very good episode.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, that was a lot of fun to film. I filmed that, I guess, about a year ago now, and it was the first time I'd had any major prosthetics done. So I was walking around because the scene that we did where I'm actually dead on the road, we shot.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. It's like the first 5 minutes of the episode, okay? We took about 5.5 hours to shoot that because there was so much walking around happening, like the detectives walking around me and talking about the time of death and all that stuff. So when I got my prosthetics done, I had literally like a fake bone sticking out of my leg, and I was walking around at 2 a.m. in East Vancouver, which, you know, people were still out in. People were looking at me like, on earth. And when we filmed that scene, I was lying on the ground in a skirt on a wet road for like 6 hours.
Oh, man.
I will always remember that very vividly.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. So, well, I'm glad it was fun because it was a great episode. And, yeah, that prosthetic, it was pretty gruesome.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of fake blood. And that stuff, too, like fake blood, a lot of the time, I mean, there's a lot of different kinds that different shows can use, but the kind that we used that time didn't really wash off for like 4 days.
Oh, wow.
I had like red stuff all over me, which is pretty funny, like on half of my face, because half my face was kind of in blood, so it was really, really great.
Oh, well, that's cool. And I think, you know what, here's a good time to read an email. You game?
Yeah, for sure.
There's a listener and a friend of our Facebook page. Her name is Ava Eslami, and basically, you know, she sent us this email, and I chopped it down just a little bit. But I'll just read the parts that I think are actually, well, she's actually had a lot of good questions, but one of her questions was, Naomi knew that her father shot the Union Pacific policeman, yet was silent. And she was wondering, and I know that this is something that is probably a writer thing, but she was basically saying, how did she have the nerve to tell her father that she was expecting and who it was from when she stayed silent, you know, when her brother was hanged? And she was just wondering if you knew if Mr. Hatch was really going after Cullen for the death of his son, or was it for violating his daughter? What do you think about that?
Well, I think the reason why she didn't stand up for Jeb when he was being hung was the same reason why she had to tell her father who it was. And, I mean, first of all, like, if you're expecting a child and you live with your family, you can only hide it for so long. It's not like it's up to you to not say anything, because they would have discovered sooner or later. But back in the day, I mean, in the 1860s, women had their place, and it was not their place to, I mean, in this situation anyway, I don't want to generalize, but in this particular family, it wouldn't be accepted that she would speak out against her father. It wouldn't. And that's why going to the barn for her the first time was so risky, and that's why saying Cullen didn't violate her was so risky, and going to the barn when he was in jail was also so risky, because she's not allowed to do any of these things. But at the same time, there was nothing she could have done. In the first episode, when Jeb was being hung, didn't matter. Like, Jeb tried to speak out somewhat, and look what happened to him. Odds weren't so good. She doesn't have any control or authority in her family, really. And then what was the second half of the question?
Oh, well, you pretty much answered it. It was just mainly saying, you know, why did Naomi stay silent, and and what was here it is. It was was he really going after Cullen for the death of his son, or was it for violating his daughter? What was his main motivation behind his hatred of Cullen Bohannon outside of his property, getting a train through it?
Well, I think that would probably be a good question for James, who plays Aaron. But from what I know, I definitely think that he was more out to get Cullen for Jeb, or Jeb singing. But at the same time, also, that is a good question because, Naomi did keep her mouth shut from the hanging, and she's kept her mouth shut for the last however many months. And now it's come to a time when another person is going to die because her father wasn't honest and can't come to terms with what he's done. And I think she's basically like, okay, that's enough of this, thing that you're creating and not taking responsibility for your actions. So she decides to take responsibility and be active and change something and make something happen. And she does take a huge risk by doing that, by going behind her father or turning his words around and saying that, no, he didn't violate me.
Oh, okay. Well, and seeing that you led me into the barn scene, what was it like reading the reaction to the barn scene and not being able to respond to it, knowing that people didn't know the full story or weren't going to get the full story until the end of the season?
Oh, you mean when people were so up in arms about it and how controversial it was and whatnot?
Yes, because that was the second episode, and I knew that you guys couldn't speak on it because you knew that there was more to tell. But what was it like reading the reactions and probably wanting to respond and couldn't?
Well, I guess there was a few things. Like the two main reactions that people seem to have were, one, like, this is completely out of character for Cullen, and number two, oh my God, is that girl 12? My reaction to the second one was, I do look young. I am older than I look, and the showrunners and producers and everybody made a very specific decision on how they wanted me to look, how they dressed me, how they did my hair and my makeup, and they hired me for a reason. And so when it came down to look, it was like, yes, I did look young, but I also didn't open my mouth. Like, you can tell, I think when you speak to a person, you get a better idea of how mature they are, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And in terms of it being an out-of-character choice for Cullen, I thought that was kind of funny because I think as Anson responded to one of them, it felt like people were projecting and they knew the character better than he did and whatnot, which is kind of funny as well. So it was expected. I expected that there would be some controversy because it was somewhat unprecedented on the show. Like, Bohannon didn't really have any casual hookups. So I think everyone kind of like, what is this? What is this choice? What does this mean? And why is she so young? And and so it was kind of funny to read. Not being able to respond, I don't know. I think it's kind of a good thing in a way because I was just like, you'll see. Like,
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, it's interesting to, people. But then I think by the time the finale rolled around, a lot of people had kind of forgotten or figured nothing more was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting to then see people be like, oh, yeah, this did go somewhere.
Was it told to you that her character was eventually going to get pregnant when you took the part? Or was this something that later on they decided to do?
It was implied, but I was never sure. Like, I never got, solid confirmation that was what was going to happen.
You knew you were coming back, though.
Pardon me?
You knew you were coming back at some point, though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, when you are, like, on a TV series and you're recurring, a lot of the time you don't have a solid idea of exactly what is going to happen when. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of kind of, like, waiting and seeing how the series pans out and whatnot. So I had an idea, but I didn't know exactly what direction it was going to go in. But when I auditioned for the role, I had no idea because, as you know, AMC is very good at keeping things confidential, and it's so important that none of this information leaks out, right? Especially kind of a big twist in the story like this. When I auditioned for the role, they actually created like a fake script and kind of a fake character breakdown and whatnot, so that's what I thought I was auditioning for. Mm-hmm. And then I figured out like a week later when I booked the role, they were like, and you're going to be doing this. And I was pretty happy.
We were getting a question from the chat room. They wanted to know about the scenes that were cut out in the barn, the stuff that was cut out for the barn scene.
Right. Well, that whole scene in the barn was a lot longer. Like that scene itself, there was more of a lead-in where, like, I don't know how much I can really say, but it didn't start off like bang in the middle of it like it did in the episode. It started, with me coming into the barn and whatnot. And I don't know if they're gonna do a deleted scenes or anything when the DVD comes out, so I don't want to, be too specific about what happened.
Right.
But then also there was a scene that got cut in between Naomi giving Cullen biscuits and them in the barn where Bohannon was listening to my little sister, which was really sweet. It was like a really, it showed a different side of him that perhaps hadn't been seen from, like, that Naomi hadn't seen before, which I think definitely helped the attraction there. So that scene where he was reading to the little sister by the fireplace and she was sitting in his lap, and that would have been more of a lead-in as well. Other than that, there's probably like a couple minutes of stuff that got cut, but that happens in TV. You only have 42 minutes or whatnot per episode, so you have to make your choices.
Okay, that's cool. And, I have to ask you this. This is for all of the ladies that post on the Facebook page, in emails, Twitter. What was it like working with Anson Mount?
Anson's great. You couldn't ask for a better person to work alongside. He's very wise. He's a very wise man, very funny, very committed to his work. It's amazing just watching him work. And being in a scene with someone who gives so much is like, it just makes your job so easy, because everything you need is right there in front of you, like being given to you. And I started watching the show when I got my audition and hammered through 2 seasons very quickly. Mm-hmm. I loved the performances by all of the characters, and yeah, I was really looking forward to working with Anson because he's definitely a force of nature and just commands every scene that he's in. And so, yeah, it was wonderful working with him.
This next question obviously is not from me. It's from the chat room. It's from Renee Fleming. I'm going to put your name on blast. She goes, details. Is Anson a good kisser?
Oh, man. I knew I was going to ask something like that. I mean, I think any actor will tell you that when you're doing a scene where there's a kiss or there's a love scene or a sex scene, it's not sexy. It's choreographed, it's rehearsed, it's there's a lot of people around, and it's not like, when you're in everyday life and you're with someone you love and you're making out, there's not something that's like, okay, this can't go on for 20 minutes. So it's not real, and it's not at all a gratuitous or a self-indulgent thing. So the last thing you're really thinking about in a scene like that is I don't know, is that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's work. It's work.
And they're playing a character, and this is what is happening between the characters. It's not like a that's the last thing you should be thinking about.
Once again, one of the ladies in the chat room, this is not from me. This is Teresa, is saying, she says, not true. Hugh Jackman has confessed that being turned on during certain love scenes. She done did her research. She said, don't be shy, girl. Share the details.
Oh, Lord.
That's too funny. It's
Teresa needs to
straight up. I mean, it's a job. You know what I mean?
Pretty good job for Anson.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I'm sure some people do sometimes. I guess I don't know. In some movies I heard some actors doing a movie where they want all the sex in the movie to be real, like actual sex. And there's a big A-list actor. So I mean, I guess it depends maybe on the actor, but
Shia LaBeouf or whatever.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But from my experience and talking to my friends who are actors and other actors on the show, I think it's, I don't know. It's kind of, you're removed a little bit.
Nancy said, I like to have a job like that.
I'll just start acting.
Y'all need to quit. She thought they talking about specifically your job.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't go to acting school. Y'all don't deserve it. Oh my God. Yeah, they funny. I didn't read everything from the chat room.
Oh no.
A lot of rehearsals would be nice.
Oh my gosh.
It's a job, ladies. It's just a job.
Okay. Well, let's pivot away from this madness and let's talk about the filming of the execution scene. How much time did you guys spend filming that scene, and what was that experience like, filming such a gut-wrenching finish to an episode?
Oh man, that scene was unbelievable. How long did it take? I think we did that over 2 days. I think we kind of split it because we had to match the light, and I don't know how many hours it would have been, but I think we did it mostly over 2 days. And it was heartbreaking. That scene was just, I don't know. Ben Sullivan, who plays Jeb, the brother, you guys saw the episode.
Mm-hmm.
It was so terrible. I remember actually reading that script for the first time, and when I read this scene, the second Aaron was he done it, and then it continues on, I just was crying for the rest of the script. I was no, this is so, oh my God. So filming the scene was that times 100. It was pretty brutal the way that he was hung. It wasn't a neck-breaking thing. It was a suffocating to death kind of thing, which is not, there's lots of different ways of hanging, and that's definitely not one of the more humane ways. I guess it was the most convenient way, at the time. I don't mean for the show. I mean for the time, for what was actually happening. And we did spend probably like 7 or 8 hours filming that on the last day, and it was really eerie because when we were doing that, I think maybe one of the very last takes we did, which I think did air in the episode, it's when Aaron's looking at Jeb and I'm kind of behind him and crying and whatnot. When that was happening, the scene, it was dead silent, and of course, other than the cameras and the crew, there's no one around. Like, there's no cars, you can't see any roads, anything like that, because it's all hidden. All of a sudden, you know, the sun is setting, everything's happening, Jeb is being hung, and all of a sudden you hear in the distance coyotes start going crazy, like they've just killed something. I don't know if you guys have heard coyotes when they're hunting, but it's really eerie. Mm-hmm. And it's just, after the scene, James just turned around and looked at me, and we both had tears in our eyes, and we were like, that was crazy. Like, it was just so chilling, and it was very emotional. It was a great scene, though.
You know what's funny is, in a roundabout way, that scene kind of created this podcast, because one of the things that me and Yardley said for us to do this podcast was we were saying if the season premiere is good, really good, because you know how some shows fall off, you know? Mm-hmm. We were going to record a podcast. You know, like, we were going to start doing the podcast. So that eminent domain episode pretty much solidified we were doing the podcast on the show. And that scene was very pivotal, and, you know, it pretty much made sure that we were doing the show, because it was awesome. You know, we were like, oh, yeah, we got to do a show about it. You know? So,
oh, great.
So you kind of birthed not only Anson's baby, you birthed Talking on Wheels in a roundabout way. You had two babies in your belly.
I'm so happy. I'm honored that I could be a part. Thanks, guys.
Well, actually, you know, how did you hear about our show?
From Anson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Anson mentioned it way back when. Like, I don't even know. It would have been, like, in the summer sometime. Him and Common were talking about you guys over lunch, and Anson was like, have you seen what these guys are doing, man? This is so cool. And he was, like, showing Common, and Common was like, yeah, man, I know. And then John Worth, the showrunner, was like, that's so great. And I was like, what is this? So, yeah, you were the buzz of set.
Oh, cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Everyone's talking about you. So, yeah, I'm excited I got in on that.
Heck yeah. That's pretty awesome. We've heard that before, but it's cool to hear it from you. They was talking about us. We talk about them every week, right?
Exactly. I'm like, wow, cool.
Everybody gets their ears buzzing.
Good and bad. That's mostly good, though. Yeah, it's kind of funny, too, because I think on that first episode, I was like, man, Anson's gotten gray.
Gotten gray?
Yeah, gray. It seemed like his character got grayer this year.
Oh, I didn't know if it said gray or great.
Gray. So that's kind of funny. So I'm sure you heard that.
Yeah. I guess since the first, his beard is also, like, and his hair is longer, too, I think.
Yeah.
There's a couple differences.
We actually have a hashtag question. Karen Cohen wanted to know how many months pregnant was your character Naomi?
Someone actually said 5 to me the other day, and I had this worked out on set. I'm pretty sure it is 5 months.
Oh wow! I mean, she basically put is Naomi around 5 months pregnant, and she's got like dates, and I'm like, how the hell did you get the dates? And she came up with 5 months exactly, which is what you just said. I'm like, wow. I mean, are we that serious?
Yeah. And it's funny, yeah, because I did work that out. I can't remember how, but I did have that worked out on set. I'm pretty sure it was 5. Because if I was 3 months pregnant, I think that I probably had like quintuplets or something in that belly there, because it was fairly large. So I'm pretty sure it's 5 months.
Okay, cool.
Great question.
So what is the baby bump that you have? Is it the pillow? Is it a bunch of sheets? Stuffed under your shirt with.
Yeah, it's kind of like a pillow. It's like a pillow in a bodysuit, kind of. It's like shaped. It's basically like a cushion, I guess. Yeah, that's fitted and to me and the right size and whatnot, and it straps on. It's really nice.
Do you ever, when you had it on, did you ever like forget, that you had it on and maybe go to the cafeteria or something? Or some restaurant or something like. And they treat you all differently now because they think you're pregnant.
You know what? It's actually really funny because, well, a couple things. On the other show I was working on, I was doing another Western this summer in Calgary as well. And on that show, I was wearing a corset the whole time. So it was the opposite of a baby bump. And I actually, at this point, this was in August, and obviously the finale hadn't aired yet. But some of the same people who were doing, background work or were working on the crew of Hell on Wheels were also working background or crew on Forsaken, which was the other film I did. So, of course, at this point, it's still completely top secret that I was ever pregnant on Hell on Wheels. And I would have people coming up to me, I'd be talking to my, my other fellow actors or friends on Forsaken. I'd have people from Hell on Wheels come up and be like, hey, looks like you lost a little weight in the belly. And and other people would look at them like, wow, you are a dick. I'd be like, no, no, what? What are you saying? So that was kind of funny. But yeah, and then it's kind of weird taking it off, at the end of the day, this belly thing. It makes you remember how small you actually are. You can eat as much on set as you want if you're wearing that.
We have a caller, and this one you're gonna have to get her because she's being silly in the chat room. I'm not gonna even ask you to say your name. What's up, Teresa?
Hey, Tente and Yarly. I'm not being silly.
Your question. What you got for her? I'm gonna keep my finger over the red button.
How dare you?
Nah, she's coaching.
How's it going?
Hi, Siobhan. I want to say a couple of things, and then I had a question, if you don't mind.
Okay. Sure.
I just wanted to say that, excuse me, originally I was one of the people who was really against the barn scene, and it really came down to the presentation. And somehow between then and the finale, your performance of the character totally turned me around.
Really?
There wasn't that many scenes in the finale. Well, season finale. I hate saying finale. It sounds bad. But in the season finale, it just, something about your character just warmed me to the point where I've been heavily advocating on the AMC forums that I really want your character to stick around for a while next season, because there's this horrible, horrible feeling going around that they're going to off Naomi's character within the first 2 or 3 episodes.
That they're going to what, sorry?
That they're going to kill her off. Sorry.
Right. Well,
and
thank you. Thank you for advocating. That's awesome.
You're welcome. And my question to you was, you obviously already explained what was edited out. When you were approached for the character, you said that that she was partially described as what was going to possibly happening in the season.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were presented with the script for the last episode, were you shocked at all? Were you expecting that?
A little bit of both. I was told at first that if it happened, I would come back in the finale and I would be pregnant. And I was kind of picturing in my mind, okay, I'm probably going to come back in the last scene of the episode, and you'll just see me, and you'll see a bump, and you'll be like, oh no, Naomi's pregnant, and then it would be cut, and it would be end of season. So when I read the script for the finale, and one of the very first scenes, I was there, and it was like, okay, she's pregnant. In my head, I was like, okay, where does this have to go now? What? And then I kept reading, and there was, a lot between Cullen and Naomi in it. And then I got to the marriage, and as soon as the marriage happened, I was really excited, and then I was like, okay, there's no way I'm still alive at the end of this episode. And so then I kind of just skimmed through to the end. And I was like, what? I'm still alive. Oh, great. Okay. So I was definitely really surprised because I didn't know the marriage was coming, and I didn't know how much material I would have and how much I'd have to work with. But yeah, so I was very shocked, pleasantly shocked.
That's so great. And can I ask one more thing?
Sure.
On the show, I know you're 23, I believe, right?
Depends on where you look. I'm between 21 and 26, depending on the website you go to.
Okay. Well, you're in your 20s. Let's establish that. But
yeah.
I don't know if it's, for some reason you look like between 14 and 16. So I want to know what did they do in the makeup / wardrobe department to make you look that young, or are you just naturally that young looking?
I do look really young. I was wearing almost no makeup. And surprisingly, I don't know, like, if you think I look older in the finale, but there I was wearing pretty much the same amount of makeup. They just did my hair differently and dressed me a little differently. It's amazing what subtle differences can do. Also, I think a really big part of why I came off so young is that I literally didn't say a word. You know, when you see me on screen and you don't see me talk, I look like I could be 14. But my voice is a little deeper, and I talk like an adult, not a 14-year-old. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Yeah, in terms of makeup and hair and stuff like that, most of it was just kind of me in my natural state. Just look 14, I guess.
You didn't look no 14.
Well, I've seen pictures
you look young, but
like,
not 14, young.
Yeah, well, I've seen other pictures of her outside of the show, and she doesn't look that young. But for some reason on the show, she looked very young.
Yeah, and also, you know, like the light color. I was wearing a very, like a very virginal kind of dress. It was very light colors, and it's just all, you know, little subtle things that they do that are very smart that make a character present the way that they want them presented. So, yeah.
I'll blame it on the Little House on the Prairie dress you were wearing. So, but yes, like I said, I do hope you're around for a while. I hope you don't get killed off in the beginning of season 4, which I know it's not confirmed, but everybody's really hoping for it.
It's happening. I'm confirming it.
I appreciate that. Thank you for your questions.
Thank you. Well, I'll let you guys go so you can get to the next caller or move on. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Teresa.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think you looked 14, 16, or, you know, nothing like that. You did look, your character did look pretty young.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I thought she was of age. I mean, you know, or maybe I wanted you to be of age. Maybe that's what it was.
Also, even, to be completely honest, even if I was 14, it wouldn't have been that far off for the era. I mean, women got married at, you know, sometimes 13, 14, like it happened. And I think 14 is a bit of a stretch. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but.
No, you're right, actually. You know, 30-year-old men married 15, 16, you know, because the main objective was you wanted someone to take care of you at that time. And that was, you know, I think people are putting on their 2013 morality with, you know, an 1860-day show. If, you know, a guy might have married off his daughter at 15 to a 40-year-old man, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, whatever we think of that, you know, it doesn't matter. I mean, that would have been okay in the society, and he wouldn't have done it. It's like going to a whorehouse. You know, it has a thing attached to it now, but back then it was common for, you know, for men, you know. I mean, it wasn't even stuff that people hide. They went in there, and that's what it was. But today, you know, if you're saying, I'm going to the whorehouse, you know, it'd be a little different than 1860.
Well, yeah, you also had a life expectancy deal going on, too, because I don't think that the life expectancy was as high. So you wanted to have kids, you know, while you could, because people were, you know, you didn't have the medical attention. There were a lot more accidents that went on in those days. So you're right, 21st century mentality.
Absolutely. And it was funny that the show deals with so many things that are kind of touchy subjects, you know, very controversial things like racism back in the day And, like you said, prostitution and violence. And people were so up in arms about this one scene, but the rest of it was just accepted. It was funny to me.
Now, I know you're a professional actress and you've been doing this for a while, but when you did have the love scene with Cullen, or Anson, I should say, in episode 2, what did your parents say? I was just wondering.
I kind of broke the news to them very slowly over 3 weeks. My mom it was really funny because she was asking about the character and she was like, oh, so what lines do you have? And I was like, I don't have any lines. She was like, you don't have lines? And I was like, no. And she's like, well, what do you do? And I was like, oh, I'm just kind of there. And then later on, I was like, well,
moaning and groaning.
Yeah, I was like, this is how I broke it to her. Later in the week, I kind of said oh, Mom, so it's so great. They said I'm gonna be coming back. And she was like, oh, good. And I was like, and I'm gonna be pregnant. She was like, wait, how are you gonna be pregnant? Well, yeah. And she was like, wait, how? So I kind of broke it to her like that, but she didn't. And then when she saw the episode, she was like, that was nothing. What are you talking about?
Aww. So
they understand that it's my job and I'm a professional and it's happened before and yeah.
Because in the I've seen stills of the Christmas movie you did.
Yeah.
And it I see there's a kissing scene. I don't know if it was an actual a lovemaking scene.
No.
Okay. you couldn't tell from the still, but so. Yeah,
no, that movie was G-rated, I think. I don't.
Oh, okay.
There's a short kiss.
Oh, okay. I mean, if you look at it still, you're not quite sure. All right.
Yes, no.
We have another caller. Caller, area code 904. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Deborah Paquette, and calling from Jacksonville Beach, Florida.
All right, hey.
Deborah.
Hi. Well, I was just wondering, because I just got to tune in, did you ever think when you got the part how much emotion it was going to evoke from the fans? I mean, because you basically, 2 episodes has gotten as much emotion as the character of Lily, and that took 2 years.
Oh,
so it's
really?
It's pretty amazing. I mean, when they killed Lily, people were up in arms, and people are up in arms with you, and it's just been 2 episodes, so it's really exciting to see where things are going to go next season with the character.
Yeah. No. I guess I'm actually kind of realizing now, right now that you said that. That's funny. A good point.
Yeah.
No, I never thought that. I mean, when I did the first episode, I was saying nothing was confirmed with how much my character would grow or how much I would be back. So I really had 0 expectations. Then I was just kind of hoping I'd get to come back at all. And then when the finale came around, it kind of hit me, when I saw, how much I was going to be in it and whatnot. And I was, definitely surprised by the fan reaction in the premiere. Or in episode 2, sorry. I didn't think people would get so worked up about it, and then, I don't know, I guess I still don't really, I didn't know that people were uprising.
Right, but it's good. It's good for the character, I think. For her to come back.
Well, it's like publicity, Any reaction is a good reaction for the most part. I mean, if people... I've played a lot of characters that people hate. I've played a lot of antagonists, and if you get people to hate you, you did your job. You know what I mean? So as long as you get a strong reaction is a good reaction for the most part. Whether they like me or they want to see me killed, in the first 5 minutes of season 4.
they just want Cullen to them. They just want Cullen to themselves. That's all it is.
Some of them.
Yeah, and I think that some of the fans do have trouble separating the actor from the character.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're always going to have kind of those crazies anyway. So, but I think season 3 has been really good, and it's, I just hope they have more than 10 episodes. if they get a season 4, so they can, kind of flesh out the characters more.
Yeah, me too. That would be great.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
thank
we'd all
you.
like that. Oh, no, thank
Hopefully
you.
See you next season.
Yeah, thanks so much. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care.
Hey, have a good one.
Melanie?
Hello. I just got a question from the chat that we're viewing. We have Jeanette Med. She wanted us to ask you, did you happen to listen to the song that she tweeted to you yesterday that she thought that would fit Naomi and Colin?
I did. The Civil Wars one, I'm assuming. I mean, she's not on the call, but yeah, I did, and I was kind of blown away by the parallels that it drew between the characters. It was really surprising. I actually tweeted back one that I used to listen to on set as well a lot that summed up a lot of the relationships in episode 2. I started listening to Mumford & Sons' new album called Babel, and it's funny. It's almost like every song from that album represented a scene from episode 2. It's kind of uncanny, actually. I shared it with James and with Ben, who played Jeb as well, and it's almost like they wrote the album for that episode.
And there's a couple of more questions from the AMC forum.
Okay.
One of them is from Horse Lover. She wanted to ask you, you've worked with several horses in your career thus far. Do you ride as a hobby, or have you worked with a horse that you felt a special bond to?
Yes, definitely. I did my first riding job when I was working on Heartland, and growing up in Calgary, it's a very horse-driven and farming community, so there's a lot of riding. I did grow up riding, not heavily, not a ton, but just recreationally. So when I got to ride on Heartland, that was fun. I did Western-style riding then, and I was on the show for 6 episodes and got to ride for most of them, I think. So that was fun. I got to learn like roping steers, which was something that I'd never been exposed to before. And then I did a film, I think 2 years ago, called Flicka Country Pride, and I was actually on location in Kelowna for a month. Kelowna is in interior British Columbia, and because we were there away from home, I had a horse that I rode every day that I did all my scenes with. Her name was Decca, and it was English riding that time, so we did a lot of show jumping and dressage and hunter jumper courses and all that kind of stuff. And so every morning I would get driven to set at 5 or 6 a.m. I would get on my horse and have lessons for an hour or two, and then go back, get changed, and then go to set and do a lot of riding and filming. So I formed a really special bond with her. I still think about her. She was an amazing horse. And I didn't get to ride on Hell on Wheels this season, but it was neat to be back on a show that uses a lot of horses, because I love working with animals. It just adds another level. I was petting everybody else's horses when they weren't watching. So.
Well, you know, they like to kill off horses, too, on this show.
I know. He's so
Tina
mad.
is pissed.
God, she's on welfare now, I think.
Quickly. He's down under, unfortunately.
Poor guy.
We have another caller.
Okay.
Caller, area code 615. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, Yardley. It's Candy Sue from Tennessee.
Candy Sue. You love that accent, Candy Sue.
Mm-hmm. Y'all doing okay tonight?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How are you?
Hey, Siobhan. It's really nice to speak with you. I wasn't planning on calling in, but you said some things that I've developed a couple of questions, so I'm not prepared to have them written down. I just wanted to ask, and I'm so sorry that you have caught so much flack, because of the barn scene. But I believe you're a victim of poor editing. I believe if we had seen the whole barn scene, we probably could have accepted things better. Some of the folks who went to the Texas ATX thing saw it, so they were able to in on what happened, so it made a lot more sense. And I think especially going to the pregnancy storyline, if they had shown that would be easier to accept too for people, just to do it all online. But, and I know because of confidentiality, you just can't tell us maybe going forward if it's going to be part of the storyline, but just in your mind when they told you, when you were in the episode 2, what was Naomi's motivation to follow Cullen into that barn? She's a very young, innocent girl in this very religious family. I just, was it just rebellion? Was she taken with him? Was she hoping maybe he'd be back and something might develop?
I know what her motivation was.
I know.
I can answer that.
I know. I mean, not one.
Oh my gosh, she's at my house. No, I think that a combination of things, really. She's grown up very repressed. She is.
Yes.
18. She's in a family that has 3 wives and a lot of younger children, and she's not married yet. She, to be honest, like in her kind of a situation, the kind of lifestyle they were living in, 18 or 19 was kind of old not to have any suitors, not to have a marriage arranged or someone she was kind of set with. So I think when Cullen came, it was something she'd never seen before. She's used to, because the Mormon colonies back then were very, they didn't really go outside of their circle of people that they knew. So I think when somebody new were to enter their lives, it would be kind of a big deal. And obviously I think she was initially attracted to him, looks-wise. And here's this man that comes into our house. He has a lot of power and authority. But then, even though he comes there to do his job and he's done all these things and commanded everything that's going to happen, he then goes out of his way to try and make them comfortable. And I think she appreciates that. She can see that he has kind of a soft side to him. And because she's been deprived of certain experiences, because of her lifestyle and the intensity of their religion and lifestyle, I think that when the opportunity presented itself, she jumped on it, literally. It's kind of human instinct. I don't know, just however any casual hookup happens, really. I definitely think she is the rebellious one in the family, and that's why she does go... she does things without necessarily having permission to do them, and then deals with the consequences later, evidently. But she comes from a life where she is very heavily controlled, and when she actually got an opportunity to do something that she got to control, she took advantage of it. I don't know if that makes sense.
Renee
yes.
Renee brings up the fact that Naomi could have been one of Brigham Young's wives.
Not anymore.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what a young girl was looking forward to, right? Being one of
his.
Yeah.
Come up for many wives.
I'm sorry, Candy.
Oh, that's fine.
Uh-huh.
I just think it's interesting going forward that if she is sort of rebellious, what would that do? I hope they don't kill her off just right away, but I think that's very interesting. She may have a lot of problems with Cullen, going forward.
Yeah, well, it's kind of an awkward marriage because neither of them, she was in a place where she was being shunned because she was pregnant and she was unchaste and she'd done all these things. She was shunned by her family, by the community. She's living in an enclosed fort where no one will really talk to her. You can't get more isolated than that, really. So I think when Cullen comes back, I think he's the one person that has symbolized this idea of freedom and the world outside of the world that she knows that is so contained and so small and so devoid of any opportunity or any way of expanding outwards or anything different, that's what she sees in him. It's like a freedom, and an opportunity. And so then when he comes back to the fort after again she's been robbed of anything she has by her family and community shunning her, he comes back and it's a face that even though he did something terrible to her brother, she knows it wasn't his fault. She knows her father's nature, and he offers a way of escaping this place that she's been kept, this shunned place where she's, the bottom of the bottom, and now she has an opportunity, as messed up as it is, to marry him, and she just wants to be the best way she can be, regardless of the situation, which is still not ideal.
Well, just one more thing, because she said two very interesting things to Cullen, and I just think in this show, everything means something. She told Cullen that her baby was the will of God, their baby. But then, on the wedding night, when he said that he and Mary hadn't been chaste until their wedding night, she said, "Oh, well, that's sinful." So I thought, "Oh." She kind of was talking back to him there, and I'm just thinking, she may have a little more there. She's just not going to be the little milquetoast girl. I know it'll be interesting to see. I hope they just don't, throw her in front of the Swede's bullet, because that would just be so easy, but let her develop as a character and take it wherever it goes. There's a lot of different directions it could go. And thank you so much.
Oh, no, thank you. And I'm sure whatever happens will probably be the last thing everyone expects.
Yeah. Thank you again so much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be Durant's baby.
Oh, no. Please, no.
Tom Brady, get on it.
Tom Brady, don't do it.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna start liking him as much as I like that quarterback named Tom Brady.
I love all these conversations that I overhear. It's like, no, it's her brother's baby. No, it's her father's baby. It's not Bohannon's baby.
I know. Isn't that a trip, though, that people who love Cullen, they want it to be anybody's baby, but his. It's Jabs.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
They're like, it's Elam's baby. I don't care.
Yeah, it's, I don't know.
Do you like the direction that they're taking your character? Do you like the direction that that Naomi's going, according to the writers?
Definitely. I think it leaves a lot of room for a lot of different things to happen, and it could go kind of like any direction from here. So it's exciting for me because I have no idea what's next.
I hope that you're already have had your baby when the season comes back. That'd be nice if they time jump, because, I don't want you to have to play through a whole season pregnant, we've already had the baby having the baby on the show, so it'd be cool if they come back and you guys are settled in, and and he has the swing set, in the fort,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it'll start like 20 years from now, and we'll just be old, and he'll just be ill in bed or something.
According to Teresa, if it's 20 years from now, you'll be only 34.
Totally.
Cullen will be the old one.
Yeah, everything's completely changed.
Oh, yeah, we gotta get on that writing staff somehow.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, this is a start.
Now, what kind of parts? What is like your dream role that you've always wanted to play? Do you like playing the youngish, naive character, or do you want to play like a badass, a villainous, type character, or you just take them as they come?
Before this summer, all I wanted was a period piece. One of my goals was, in my acting career, I want to have at least one period drama that I've done ever. Like, it can happen when I'm 60, I don't care, I just want one. And then this summer I got 2. So I was really happy. So that was pretty much my goal up until now. I would love to do something medieval. Because of my British Welsh roots, I have an obsession with the British monarchs and the history of royalty in medieval Britain. So I'd love to play something like, I don't know if you know the show The Tudors.
I love that show, yeah.
Yeah. So something like that. Something even more in the past would be a lot of fun. I also am a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I would love to play something fantasy, action fantasy kind of thing. I think that would be amazing.
You would have been a great Anne Boleyn, I think.
Oh, thank you.
But it would have been really sad when they had to behead you.
Yeah, that would have been sad too. Other than that, I love like just really dark, gritty movies as well. Something, I think the more different something is from my life as it is, the more fun it can be. Like, I don't know, the further the character is from you, I think, or the more that they've been through that is completely foreign to you, I think that makes it more interesting. I love doing roles too where I have to learn a new skill. Like, when I have to do horseback riding, I would love to learn some sort of, combat or sword fighting or something that's a challenge where I have to do a lot of research or learn a new skill is ideal.
You got to do a hood movie so you can, you have to learn how to rap.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Well, no, I mean, since she's very good in dance, I want to see the deleted scenes of the Naomi Hatch twerk videos.
Oh, God, no.
You know when she's not around the family, she's like in the back getting her twerk on.
Terrible.
Sticking her tongue.
Hey, what was it like when you first arrived on set? Was your experience pretty positive?
Nobody talked to me. Everyone was really mean.
Oh, of course.
No, it was great. It was really nice because when I flew into Calgary, I went to a wardrobe fitting and a hair and makeup consultation, and this was a couple days before I actually started filming. So after I went to that, they drove me up to set, and I got to do a meet and greet with all the cast. So I got to meet our director, Adam Davidson, and Paul Curta, the producer, and Chados, a couple producers, and Anson and James Shanklin, who played Aaron Hatch. And so that was really nice. That helped me ease in. I got to see the set a little bit and see where everything was. And it's really like a family. I mean, that show has been going for 3 years now, and everyone just gets along so great. Everyone is so comfortable with each other. On a lot of productions, there's at least one person that is kind of a diva or, is maybe harder to please or you have to walk on eggshells around. But on Hell on Wheels, there's nobody like that. Everyone's just so happy to be there and be on the show. And, yeah, it's amazing, really.
Okay.
Now, we have a question from Teresa once again in the chat room. She wants to know, were you there for the floods?
Not really. I filmed episode 2 in May and then came back, and then the flooding happened in June, so it started kind of, I think, the beginning of June or maybe a little bit before and went on until July. And I was back in Vancouver, and then I had to drive out to Calgary because I wanted to have my car with me because I spent a lot of the summer there filming. And when I drove, it's typically about an 11 or 12-hour drive from Vancouver to Calgary, but because the floods were happening, the Highway 1 got completely destroyed just outside of Calgary. So I had to take this ridiculous detour. It took me like 19 hours, which was kind of unfortunate, but I didn't see any of the sets that had flooded. So fortunately and unfortunately, I wasn't a part of that.
Kudos to the whole crew and everything for, surviving that and then coming back and finishing up. I mean, I had to imagine it must have been tough for everybody that worked on the show.
Yeah, for sure. in a season you only get one or two, a couple hiatuses, where you have a solid 5 to 10 days where you're not working. And one of those fell during the flood, and the crew just worked through it. They just kept working. They all took that time that was one of their only things off and dedicated it to building these sets that had been destroyed and whatnot. So it was really phenomenal, and just the level of dedication from those people and how much they feel for the show that they're a part of. It's pretty amazing. If
AMC don't greenlight a 4th season after all that, Charlie, we're going to personally go down to them offices and give it to them.
Right.
I know, right?
So that's why I'm greenlighting it myself.
You're like, no, listen to me.
Melanie, we have something else, I think, from the chat room. The Blog Talk.
Oh, the Blog Talk?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Siobhan, if you could play another female character, past or present, that was on the show, who would it be?
A female character that was on the show?
Yes, if you could play another character, but any other female character from the show, past or present.
Oh man, I have always really loved Eva, Robin McLeavy's character, and I would love to play her, but it wouldn't. But then it wouldn't be the same character, and I wouldn't be wanting to play it because Robin's the only person who can do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like when the actor steps into that role, they're what makes it special and unique, and the amount of depth and I think Robin makes me cry like every episode. That woman is so amazing, and her character is so strong, but you can feel, I love Eva. I think Eva is my favorite female character on the show, and so I would love to play her, but I couldn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, apparently Eva is undefeated. We had April on, and she actually gave the same answer. I mean, Eva's like my top 2 of characters. I really do like her character, and I like the job that Robin does. But she's such an engaging character that, hey, who can blame everybody for wanting to play it?
Yeah, exactly. I think to answer that question, I'd be like, I want to be Robin playing Eva.
Okay.
Yeah, then you would substitute the scenes with Anson with Common.
I guess that I would.
Yeah. So, it's, I guess, from a woman's point of view, you can't go wrong, right?
Yeah, I guess so. That's funny.
Now, we have this question from Nancy Bowen from the chat room. Besides Anson, how was it to work with Christopher Heyerdahl?
Oh my goodness. It's hard because when he is doing a scene, it's almost impossible to remember where you are and what you're doing. He's just so captivating. I would find myself, if I was off camera watching a scene happen, I would just get lost in whatever was happening because he is so, you guys have seen the show. He's everything he says. There's just something about him that is completely captivating and just pulls you into his world, So working with him was phenomenal. I never actually got to meet him when I was doing episode 2 because he was on set different days than I was, and I was just hoping after that, maybe I'll get to meet Chris. And then when we got to do some scenes together, it was amazing. And kind of funny considering, the whole situation. Mm-hmm. I'm pretending I'm completely naive to everything that he's ever done, and I'm really.
Yeah, he ended up marrying your characters, so that's pretty funny. That whole scene was surreal.
Yeah.
At the end of season 2, would you have thought that end of season 3 that the Swede would be performing Cullen's marriage ceremony?
No.
It's pretty funny when you think about it.
It's pretty much the most ironic thing you could ever imagine.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Now we have from the chat room also Oh, okay. No, they're just saying how creepy, the Swede is.
Oh.
On the chat in
yeah,
the room about.
He's quite creepy.
Yeah. Now, did you get a chance to meet Common while doing?
I did.
Oh, okay. So, how was it? I mean, you guys didn't share any scenes, but we keep hearing he's a really cool dude.
He is. He's so down to earth and open and just so the sweetest man you could ever meet. We met during episode 2 because we.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Shared a scene, but we kind of shared a scene. During the hanging. So I met him then, and I've seen him outside of set and whatnot, with other people hanging out. And yeah, he's amazing. He's so funny and so smart and worldly. He's just a fountain of knowledge and positivity. He's the most encouraging guy.
Yeah. Now, did you see his grizzly bear scene? Were you there on set for the grizzly bear scene?
I was on a different part of set.
Oh, okay.
It was a closed set for that because anytime you have dangerous animals working, it's the same as a love scene. Anybody who doesn't need to be there cannot be there. So I didn't get to see those, unfortunately, in person. I wanted to, but just for safety reasons, they have to keep it very small and very quiet and just necessary people. But I did see the scene. It was pretty crazy.
Actually, I'd have skipped that one, too, because I ain't messing with no grizzly bears. I don't care if they're trained or not. I ain't that brave. When it comes to animals, especially big ones that can maul you to death.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, it's amazing what these animals can do and what the trainers can teach them to do and they can do together. Phenomenal. But yeah, I know. I think everyone was a little bit nervous. I mean, other than everyone who knew what they were doing, but just Common's friends. Oh, bears. Yeah, but it worked out. Everyone's still alive. So.
Yeah. He's from Chicago, so I guess he likes them bears.
I was actually talking to a friend of mine who watches the show about it, my friend Max, and we were suggesting that maybe how next season's opened, like you said, some time has passed, and the grizzly bear has attacked the Mormon fort and left no survivors at all.
Oh, man.
Just go on a rage.
Yep.
Oh,
bear killed everybody.
Oh man.
Well, it's either kill and eat all the people or that porridge that you guys are eating.
Oh god, it's the worst.
I don't know what that was.
I would have got a divorce after that.
I swear I can make porridge better than that. I really can.
we actually have a Naomi supporter on our Facebook page. Her name is Karen Cohen, and she thinks that Naomi will be Cullen's greatest asset. She loves him unconditionally and will back him wherever they go. But she basically says that your character is very sweet, and she was like, "Will she take care of Ezra too?" I'm like, "Ugh, that's a little extra baggage."
No kidding. It's like, "And can you help my other kid?" That's very sweet of her. First of all, that would be an interesting plot line, but I feel like Ruth has already got Ezra's back, as it is now anyway.
Oh, true. What about, is there going to be a Ruth showdown?
I don't know.
Yeah, we asked her, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I guess we'll have to see what's in the cards, because I really wish I knew.
I don't know what that would be like, though. You've got two religious characters. Well, actually, Ruth cursed, so she might have a little bit more fight in it.
Yeah, but I got pregnant.
Oh, well, true. That's you won.
I win.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be interesting, though, for sure.
Well, I tell you this. I was so glad that you and Cullen ended up together because I did not like the Ruth and Cullen thing. So
no.
So that was one of the. I thought you guys were. I liked it better with your two characters than Ruth.
Really?
Yeah.
I still think that over time, because we're still early in the game.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? And remember my prediction that Bohannon would go through two other women before he wound up with Ruth.
Gee, thanks.
Okay.
Don't worry. You're gonna get someone else. You're gonna get rid of him anyway and get someone else. So.
Yeah, no. I mean, I really don't know. There's so many ways it could go. It's just kind of the great thing is like literally anything could happen.
You after all, your character might hook up with Brigham Young. You never know.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know if hook up would be the word.
Number 18, or number 3,500 or something. He was married to a lot of women.
Oh my God. Well, let me ask you about Elam. I mean, you watched the episode along with everyone else. Do you think that his character is dead? It's just pure speculation. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I really, I honestly do not know. From if I was not watching the episode, I would probably think, yeah, it looks like he's dead, but he's Elam. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, I saw your prediction.
I don't think so.
I don't think he's dead,
Yeah.
I think, he's resting after he's put in that work.
I know, exactly.
He was thinking again.
Killing the grizzly bear is hard work, you need a little rest and a little nap time afterwards.
Yeah.
So, that's all he was doing, was catching some Z's. And he's gonna get back up and then he's gonna go rescue. Well, you know what though? What would have happened though? Let's say the grizzly bear doesn't attack. He would have went there with guns blazing for nothing.
I know, right?
That would have been worse. He's like, I'm trying to save you.
For nothing?
He's dying.
Oh, he's just plowing the field. He's like, what are you doing?
Oh my God.
He'd end up getting shot for nothing.
That was good.
So, that's what I was thinking, too. I was like, as he was getting closer, I was like, don't tell me he's going to get there and get shot for nothing. I was going to be like, man. But then I didn't see that grizzly bear coming.
Yeah. Nobody saw that coming.
That was a surprise. Nancy Bowen says, Elam is not dead. He and Eva have to get back together. Aw.
That's true. That's true. Was that Mormon fort something that was easily broken down, or is that something that's there permanently?
Yeah, no. I think that part of the building structure wasn't really new. And actually, when the flood happened, the wall was gone, I believe. It destroyed part of it, and so they had to rebuild the entire wall, which I think you can see from the episode. It's not a little structure. It's a fort. So it was pretty amazing filming in there, actually, because you really get the sense that you're in this other world in this isolated fort. And the walls are so tall. I mean, they're 20-foot walls. It's a pretty magnificent place to be. And so the buildings themselves, the little houses in there, I think most of them have been there for a little while, but the actual fort around it is big for the show.
One question we didn't get a chance to ask you is, being that your character is Mormon, did you have to do much research into the Mormon faith to be prepared? And what did you do if you did?
I did do a lot of research. I went to the library and got a lot of books. I read a lot online and kind of got in touch with a couple of people I know who are Mormon and asked about the fundamentals. It's also hard because the religion's changed so much in the last 150 years. But I also read a really interesting biography by a woman who escaped a radical polygamous colony in the 80s, I believe, and the 1980s. So obviously it's different because a polygamous Mormon cult from the 80s is different than a Mormon typical family in the 1860s. But at the same time, it's there aren't really, polygamy is not condoned anymore in the Mormon religion. So reading this book definitely gave some insights into someone's specific personal experience. So it was really interesting. I learned a lot. It was a religion I didn't know a ton about beforehand. I knew people who were Latter-day Saints, but I didn't know much about the faith or the fundamentals of the religion. It was really interesting to learn about.
how did maybe some of your Mormon contacts feel about the portrayal of your portrayal of the character, but overall the Mormons, how they were portrayed in the episode?
I think most people are able to separate. Yeah, this is actually one thing. This is the one backlash I did read about that did kind of irk me, because I just thought it was funny. Like, when you're watching a TV series, whether it be a show or you're watching a movie or you're reading a book, you have your protagonists, you have your characters that you empathize with, and you have the bad guys. And the bad guys are going to be made bad guys because of what they do, not because of what they are. So, for example, if you're watching Hell on Wheels, you see Indians in the show, if you're watching, you say, oh shit, there's going to be trouble. And it's not because they're Indians, it's because of what they do. So when the hanging happened and when there was the betrayal of our family and people started saying, oh, this is inaccurately portraying Mormons, I thought to myself, well, no, we're not portraying all Mormons, we're portraying a Mormon family and their excursions. It was like, it's not it's not the same thing. Do you know what I mean?
Right. If you're doing a show about bank robbers, on that show you root for the heroes of the show are the bank robbers, so that means the cops are the bad guys in that show, in that world of the show.
Exactly.
So that it's just like, that's just kind of what happens, yeah.
Yeah, you have to establish a bias, or nobody's gonna know who to like, right?
Right.
No one knows who they're rooting for. So the fact that our family was Mormon was, obviously it's an important part of our family, but it wasn't the most important. The most important thing was what happened with Aaron and Cullen and the brother being. So I don't think that was saying that like all Mormons hung their sons.
Right.
And if people are going to take it like that, they're just going to take it like that. But that's not at all how it was portrayed, in my opinion. It's just an example.
The one thing that I'll say to this regard about that, I can understand why some people have that kind of feeling just because they're not portrayed. Mormons are not portrayed a lot on television. So sometimes people, when you're not portrayed a lot on television and then it's the few times it's kind of in a negative slant, I can understand that. But yeah. I didn't take it myself as, me personally, I didn't take it as Mormons did that. It was just that Mormon family. But I guess I can kind of understand it, but,
yeah. Again, like it's back to it's TV, it's not real, and when I was doing my research, I did see that it at times has been a very misunderstood religion, or it's been the subject of a lot of scrutiny and a lot of negative criticism and whatnot. Traditionally, I think Mormons have had a bit of a hard time as a group of people for various reasons, and so I can understand that sometimes people would choose or would interpret it that way, as it was kind of like another attack on the Mormon faith. But I think it was just a story choice, really. I don't think it was like anyone set out to be like Mormons are bad.
and you have to portray the Mormons on the show because they were prevalent in that area, and so it's the fact they're included, is great into the storyline. So
yeah,
and they're just their characters are just protecting their land, their area, which you can respect that on that level, that they're protecting, like the Native Americans. They were protecting their land, their rightful land. So, I didn't take them. Me personally, I was in a lot of ways I was rooting for the natives on the show because that was their land. So I didn't see them as villains, but they kind of are because you're rooting for the railroad. So,
yeah, totally. And I don't think that I think that the choice that Aaron Hatch made, because I think the main issue was, Aaron's choice to hang his son. That was what got people offended, that the show is generalizing, saying that was a Mormon decision or something. But I think that was based on his inner thoughts, his conflict with himself, and maybe he was able to justify it by saying, I'm the priesthood holder of my family needs me. But in his head, it was about being the sole provider for the family, right? It wasn't, right. I'm a Mormon, so this is what I'm going to do. In my opinion, anyway.
All right. Now, Melanie has a couple of things.
Okay.
Yeah, we have Nancy again from the chat room. She wanted to know, aside of from Hell on Wheels, who from the cast you would most likely work with again on another project?
That I would most likely work with?
Again, yeah.
Like that I would most want to?
Yeah, probably most want to.
Yeah, on another project, yes.
Oh, that's a tough question.
You'd be doing good with anybody, really. From the
I know,
yeah,
right?
I'd be honored to work with any of them again. James and I are extremely close. He's almost like a surrogate father to me, so it'd be fun to work with him again. We're total goose on set. In terms of most likely, I would say probably Ben, because he lives in the same city I do, and we're the same age-ish.
Essler?
Sorry?
Ben Essler?
No, sorry, Ben Sullivan, who played Jeb, my brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But other than that, like, I would love to work with, you know, Robin. We haven't done any scenes together, or any of them. Would be great. Yeah.
And another question would be, can you tell us a little bit about your character in the film that you just shot with Demi Moore and Kiefer Sutherland in the movie Redemption?
Oh, yeah. The standing title right now is actually Forsaken. It got changed. So it's a Western as well. It takes place in, I believe it's 1872, in this same vicinity as Hell on Wheels. So that was really interesting.
It's a sequel to Hell on Wheels.
If only. Yeah, that's funny. So it was a Western as well. And my character, well, in the film, it's based on Kiefer Sutherland has gone away to war, Civil War, obviously, and comes back to his father. They're now very estranged. And so it's essentially their story. John Henry, who's played by Kiefer, and his father, who's the Reverend, and Demi Moore. And it's kind of about the three of them. And then there's also a band of gunslingers who are taking control of the town, in essence, with regards to money and land. Isn't that funny?
Right.
In those days. And so one of the members of this gunslinging gang is Will Pickard, and he's a young gentleman who's a little bit lost. And my character, I play a girl named Emily Chadwick, who is the daughter of a fairly wealthy farming family, and basically our characters fall in love and end up, Will, the gunslinger, ends up courting my character, Emily, and we kind of have a tough time because he's with his gunslinging and I don't want him to be, and it's very interesting because it's a very different character than Hell on Wheels. It's funny because I was filming them at the same time. Like, I had a few days on Hell on Wheels and a few days on Forsaken, and Emily is younger. She's 16. She comes from a slightly more privileged, wealthy family, definitely not something nearly as repressive or as kind of serious as Naomi's family in Hell on Wheels. So the characters were completely different. The accents were different too, which was interesting. So yeah, it's a little bit on Forsaken. It was a lot of fun as well.
Okay, and the other question goes with the Hell on Wheels, going back to the show. Renee is wanting to ask, did you want to laugh at Anson when you revealed that his character Colin, when he looked at your belly, and that you revealed to him that you were pregnant, or to the whole Mormon fort that you were pregnant? Did you want to laugh at the look? His facial.
That was priceless.
That's a really good question, because I definitely did not laugh. I didn't even think it was funny, and when people started saying that's hilarious, I actually got a little bit insulted because in the scene, like, I was playing Naomi, and this is not funny. Like, this guy's about to get hung for killing my brother, and I'm having this is not a good situation at all. And it was a very scary thing where Naomi didn't know how Aaron was going to react, and she didn't know what to say without getting Cullen in trouble and getting herself in trouble. So it was quite a dire situation for me when I was playing it. And so I didn't even occur to me that it was funny or that there was comedy in it, because and I really don't think Anson was like trying to play the comedy. It's just how it came out. And that's why it worked, right? Because comedy never works when you're trying to be funny. But anyway,
that was fun. The look on his face was.
But now I'm like, oh my God, that's hilarious.
I'm so sorry, Siobhan, but that was funny. The look on his face was, because I've seen that look before. Yardley, you've seen that look before.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, I just hope, like, if I ever get pregnant, that's not the look that I get. That's not good.
Well, if he's in a cage about to get hung as well, I think he might give you that look.
Yeah. So no, that's a great question, because now I completely find it funny after I kind of saw it. But for a while I was like, why does everyone say this is not funny? It's terrible. And then that's crazy.
His eyes, man, that was fun. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I fell out. I literally fell out my seat.
Oh my God, that's too funny.
Yeah, so he owes me a new.
But again now. Good one.
Oh man. Is there anything else, Melanie?
No, that's it for now.
All right. Okay, so we've come to the point of the show we like to call Rapid Fire. Now, only 2 other cast members have had the pleasure of going through Rapid Fire. That's April Tellick, who played Nell on the show, and Phil Burke, who plays Mickey McGinnis on the show. So you will now be our 3rd Rapid Fire participant. So the way Rapid Fire works is me and Yardley, we just spit fire questions at you. Maybe not necessarily about acting or Hell on Wheels, but just so that our listeners can get a better feel for who Siobhan is. Okay?
All right.
We'll try to get them out pretty fast. The first question I always start off with is that a couple of years ago, they had a hologram concert of Tupac at Coachella. So the question is, what dead musician or band you would like to see a hologram concert of?
Queen, for sure. Freddie Mercury, hands down.
Oh, nice. That's a good one. Yardley.
Hey, what was your most embarrassing moment on set?
On set? Oh, man. I'm not good at this stuff. On set of Hell on Wheels?
Yes.
You know, I can't actually think of anything at the moment.
Or just period on set, if anything.
Just on set of it. Well, it wasn't really an embarrassing moment, but it was embarrassing for the pigeons. When we were filming the dinner scene in the house where Cullen's saying the railroad needs to come through, there were these pigeons living in the roof, and they were going through the entire scene, and they were like, the whole time, and everyone... I was surprised we didn't have to voice over the whole scene because it was crazy.
All right, favorite junk food?
Favorite junk food? Ice cream.
Nice. What kind? What flavor?
Mint chocolate chip.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm going to ask you a question that I asked Phil. If you had a last meal, what would it be? And you can include dessert.
Oh, a last meal. Would probably be like Italian thin crust pizza with some wine and a brownie.
So you'd have the Cujo's cafeteria last meal.
And like I find a granola bar.
I would ask for something so rare they would have to go to the end of the earth to find it.
I
So to
know.
hold up my,
I
know I get what I want.
I want some quinoa and some bat larva.
Oh God, yeah, right. Like, can I just have some broccoli, please?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see. What are you afraid of the most? Let's say, animal-wise.
Animal-wise.
Or insect or something like that.
I'm afraid of cougars.
Two-legged or four-legged?
Well, I was like, wait, what? Good one. Two-legged, definitely. No, cougars. I'm not afraid of bears because I know how to handle bears. But if you see a cougar, you're pretty much effed.
Yeah, I mean, you have bears with a knife, right? Like, coming.
Way more dangerous than bears, though, even grizzlies.
Oh gosh. Are you a PC or a Mac person?
Mac.
Yes.
Yay.
Virtual high five.
Yeah.
Favorite tune growing up?
Favorite tune? Probably Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen.
No, cartoon.
Oh, cartoon.
Animated cartoon.
Cartoon. I didn't have cable until I was like 12. So I didn't really watch cartoons, but I like Big Comfy Couch.
Big Comfy Couch.
Oh, that's pretty cool. What's your favorite amusement park?
Oh, California Adventure.
All right. First car.
Toyota Corolla.
Right.
Station wagon.
Oh wow. What was your first pet?
Oh, I had a few of them. It would have been a cat, probably. Yeah, a couple cats. And then a German Shepherd. Yeah.
If you weren't an actress, what career choice would you have made?
I'd probably be a writer of some sort. I love writing, script writing, poetry, songwriting, or music. Yeah.
Oh, good stuff. If you could perform in any play, which one would it be?
Oh, wow. That's a good one.
Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Hell on Wheels on stage?
On ice.
No, yeah, on ice.
I would love to play Ophelia in Hamlet. I think that would be fantastic. There's so many. I'll say Hamlet, Ophelia, for now.
This is from the chat room. What is your favorite television show right now aside from Helen Wills? And any other show you've been on?
I love Breaking Bad. I think it's amazing. I'm getting into Game of Thrones as well, which is also amazing.
Yeah, I think you'd be great on that too, by the way.
Oh, thanks. I would love to be on Game of Thrones. That'd be killer. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Are there any movies that are upcoming that you're excited to see?
Yeah, there's a lot. I went to see Gravity yesterday, and every preview that came on, I was like, that looks so good. 12 Years a Slave, I really want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see Llewellyn Davis. What is it, Inside Llewellyn Davis?
Mm-hmm.
And Kill Your Darlings looks really good as well, with Daniel Radcliffe and Dane DeHaan.
All right, here's a question that I asked both Phil and April. Being that you are from Calgary, if Mira Yardley was taking a young lady out on a date in Calgary, tell us what should we do? Where's some places that would be cool to take her out to?
Well, there's a couple kind of main areas. There's a cool Italian place called Una, which is really fun. It's pretty funky. What to do? There's a pretty fun amusement park actually outside of Calgary called Callaway Park if you're into throwing up and stuff. Yeah, go to the mountains. You go to Banff. A lot of the best things about Calgary are just kind of outside the city, just a little bit outside, hiking and mountains and stuff like that. Yeah.
Are you into hiking?
Into hiking?
Yes.
I am. I love hiking. I love exploring new places.
If my date went bad, I'm gonna call you up and you're gonna have to tell her it was all your suggestion.
I will.
Like, it's Siobhan Williams. She's the one that told me to take you.
I can be that stupid. Yes, that's fine.
Let's see. cake or pie?
Cake.
Okay.
Oh wow. Well, I'm gonna ask you the same one that I asked Phil. Fish or ribs?
I don't eat like red meat, so fish.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
Do you drink wine with your fish? You said, of course.
Pardon?
I said, do you drink wine with your fish? Do you prefer white or red?
Oh, probably white.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Now I'm hungry.
Let's see. What was the last concert you've been to?
Oh, I haven't been to a concert in a while. I went to a music festival in Montreal last summer. That would have been the last concert I went to. I saw a lot of different bands there. My favorite would probably have been The Shins.
Oh, yeah, they're good.
Yeah, they're really good live.
I like Broken Bells as well.
Yeah?
That's the Shins, basically.
Right.
Well, I have one final question, and what was the last book you read?
The last book I read, right now I'm reading a book called A Short History of Nearly Everything. Have you guys read it?
No, that sounds good, though. I like the title.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's written by a guy named Bill Bryson, and kind of just literally breaks down everything in the world and explains highly scientific matters in understandable, entertaining ways. Fantastic book. I would recommend it to anybody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You going to be in the movie version?
Oh, the movie version is life, man.
You know what? They can make movie versions of movies, like, what was that one, I'm Not Into You or something?
Oh, yeah.
And they made a movie of it, and it's not like they just made up a story, to attach it to it. So
yeah.
You can make something on anything, pretty much.
So true.
So, well, Siobhan, we come to the end of the show. Oh, man, we had such a wonderful time chatting with you. Man, we're very looking forward to this 4th season. We know it's going to happen. And the baby. I wonder, will you get a chance to pick the baby?
No.
No, be like, no, I don't like that baby. What else you got?
Oh, man, I wish. Maybe.
Oh, man, that'd be cool, though. But so what's your next project aside from season 4 of Hell on Wheels?
I'm not that sure at the moment. I have a couple things kind of in the works, but nothing that I have confirmed yet that I can really talk about. So after Hell on Wheels, Forsaken will be out hopefully sometime next year, and we'll see.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you so much for having me, guys.
Oh, anytime. And anytime you want to come on to talk about Hell on Wheels, talk about whatever project you got coming out, you can always do that. Please don't be a stranger.
Okay, I would love that.
And when you win your first Emmy or Oscar, shout us out. Shout us out.
Absolutely.
All right. So, Yardley, do you have anything?
No, I'd just like to say thank you so much for coming on, and it's really cool how interactive you are with the fans, and it's definitely appreciated. And we can't get enough, and we look forward to a season 4. I have a lot of confidence with the good work that all you guys are doing that there will be a season 4, and you better not be a stranger.
Oh, I will not be. Thank you so much, guys. This is a lot of fun. And thank you, fans, for all your questions.
And now, also too, when this show is over, would you do a promo for us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. All right. So once again, thank you, Yardley. Thank you, Siobhan. Thank you, Melanie, and everybody in the chat room. Next Tuesday, we'll be visited by Duncan Orenshaw, who you know as Gregory Toole. So we're excited about that. And also on Saturday we will have Tayden Marks, who plays Ezra, as well as Kevin Davey, who plays Patty Quinn, the Irish walking boss on the show. They will both be on the show Saturday. Sorry. And we have a couple other things brewing, but Monday we are doing our Talking About Walkers, the Walking Dead podcast. So we're excited. We're going to be joined by Lou Temple, who played Axel in season 3 of Walking Dead, and also we're going to have a big fan roundtable about the season 4 premiere, which premieres tomorrow night on AMC. So real exciting stuff. So we'll see you on Monday with Talking About Walkers, and we will also see you Tuesday for some more Talking Hell on Wheels. All right, I'm Kente.
Hey, and I'm Yardley.
Hey, God bless.
Nice.
Hi, my name is April Talek, and you know me as Nell on the hit AMC show Hell on Wheels. You are listening to Talking Hell on Wheels podcast with hosts Yardley and Kinte. Enjoy.